This is a very quick video to explain at a high level how typing can improve grades for dyslexics. Everything that I cover in this video is covered in a lot more depth in separate videos, but this is a quick reminder for my students. So, students are always assessed by what they write. Very rarely are students assessed by being asked questions and being able to verbally answer them. And I find dyspraxics, dyslexics, students that struggle with dysgraphia spend a disproportionate amount of time and effort on their written work. And often the marks that they get do not reflect this effort that they put in, which is incredibly discouraging and demotivating for the students. And as a consequence, students can wrongly assume that they aren't good at a subject because they're getting low grades, and they're getting low grades because they're not good at writing, not because they don't understand the subject. And because of that, talent can often go unrecognized and wasted. And this is a piece of work that my son did many years ago. It took him a long time. He worked very hard on it. He's made a lot of typical dyslexic mistakes. He went to a dyslexia-friendly school, so it doesn't have red pen all over with corrections. But it's very hard for him to see his mistakes, and you might be able to see them, but I know I too struggle to see my own mistakes. And my son was very, very reluctant to learn to touch type. He's a very lazy boy and he didn't want to do it. And how I persuaded him is I took this piece of work that he took a long time over, and for every character that he wrote, I copied it into a Word document to show him the extra help he would get. And this is the Word document I produced. And in other videos, I go into great detail showing you this functionality, but this is just a high level just to remind students. And so we see straight away that we get the red squiggly lines that shows where we've made spelling mistakes. We see the blue lines where we've made grammar mistakes. So spelling and grammar mistakes are highlighted. In Office 365 or Microsoft 365, students can also have the alternative spelling options read aloud. You can improve vocabulary by using synonyms and thesaurus, and you do this just by right-clicking the word and you get all the synonyms. And if that's not enough, you then click the thesaurus option. You can get help to make your work concise and easier to read. Obviously, when work is typed, it's easy to cut and paste and reorganize and correct work, which is not easy to do when you write it by hand. And last but definitely not least, my very favorite is when you type your work, you can listen to it. You can use read aloud functionality or speak selected text functionality, so you can hear your work. And when you hear your work, it's easy to hear mistakes and then correct them. And if that's all students do, they listen to their work and they correct it before handing it in, they will get higher grades. So that's the functionality in Office 365. There is additional functionality in Word Online in the View Immersion reading. And this just gives you an idea. You can change the fonts and background, which you can also do in 365. But what you have over and above is you have a picture dictionary, which younger students tend to love. You have parts of speech in here. I can see what's a verb, what's a noun, what's an adjective, and that really helps with the quality of writing, because children can see if there aren't enough colours in a sentence, and then they need to go in and add some more parts of speech. We see syllable division, which is good for younger children to help them read. Again, this translation is available in Office 365, but for any particular word or document, you can have it translated into an amazing amount of languages, and you can have this word read aloud. I'm not as keen on the read aloud functionality in Word Online because it's not as easy to correct your own work. I think it's more designed, it's called an immersive reader, and it's more to read notes rather than to correct your own work. But obviously you can still correct your own work, it's just not as simple. Now, exactly how you use these learning tools depend on the device you're using and the version of Office that you're using. So if you're on a MacBook as opposed to a Microsoft machine or an iPad or a Chromebook, you would do it slightly differently. So if you want to know how to do it, I would recommend you check out my YouTube channel, because I tell you how to access this functionality on any type of device, and I'll just show you how you find that information. Here I've gone into YouTube, I've done a search on Achieve Now, and then my channel comes up. If I click on that, I'll stop that so you don't hear my voice. And here we see an introduction to the channel. We see this is generic information telling you how to use a channel. And if we scroll down here, reading to learn, and here we've got text to speech, get your device to read to you. So if I click on there, and you'll see that I have lots of different options on how to switch on text to speech. So how to do it in Microsoft Edge, in Office 365, in Word Online, on a Mac, on an iPad or an iPhone, older versions of Word. This should help you to switch on this really helpful functionality regardless of the type of device you use.